Bhagavadgita, Adhyaya 9, Shloka 6. Yathakashasthito nityam vayus sarvatra gomahan tatha sarvani bhutani matsthanityopadharaya. The universe is supported by Paramatma, the Brahman. Brahman is the substratum of the entire universe. To explain this, Krishna uses an example. In this shloka, Bhagavan is presenting an example. Example is called Drishtanta. Example is used to drive home certain point, to explain something. The one who is explained through the example is called Darshtanta. Example is called Drishtanta. That which is explained through the example is called Darshtanta, exemplified. In this context, Darshtanta is Brahman, Paramatma, because Paramatma is being explained. And the example, Drishtanta, is Akasha, space. Space is presented as an example. In fact, space is the best and closest example to understand Brahman. Here, we should remember a point. Between example and exemplified, there cannot be similarity in all aspects. Drishtanta darshtantayoh sarvamshena samyam na bhavati. The example and the exemplified may not have similarity in all the aspects. For example, aeroplane is like a bird. To explain the aeroplane, I give the example of a bird. Aeroplane is like bird. In what way aeroplane is like bird? Aeroplane also flies in the air. Bird also flies in the air. Aeroplane also has wings. Even bird has wings. This is the similarity. In some aspects they are similar. In many aspects they are dissimilar also. Therefore you cannot ask, bird lay eggs. Does aeroplane also lay eggs like bird? An example cannot be similar in all aspects. Likewise, when we give an example to explain Brahman, don't expect the example to be exactly similar to Brahman. There are many dissimilarities as well. When we say Brahman is like space, there are dissimilarities between space and Brahman. Space is not Brahman. Space is Jada, insentient, whereas Brahman is consciousness. Space is Mithya, whereas Brahman is Satya. We have to keep this in mind when we study any example, especially in Vedanta. Because in Vedanta, I have often seen that people have a tendency to overstretch the example. So, now understanding the relevance of this example, in Shloka 4, Bhagavan said, Matsthani sarvabhutani, all objects are in me, everything is in me, I accommodate everything, I support everything. Then a question arises, how can Paramatma accommodate everything? Everything involves the whole universe with the boundless ocean, with the huge mountains, several planets, including Earth, several galaxies, not even several solar systems, several galaxies. So everything is very huge, very vast. How can Paramatma accommodate everything? Paramatma is able to accommodate everything because Paramatma is infinite. Being infinite, Paramatma is Mahan, great, surpasses everything. That is why he is able to accommodate everything. If the universe is large, Paramatma is larger. This is one aspect explained through this example. What is the example? Vayu, air. Air is present everywhere. There is huge quantity of air, blows everywhere. Therefore, air is Mahan, very large, very great, voluminous. Despite the air being very voluminous, it is accommodated by the space. How the space is able to accommodate it? Because the space is even larger. Space surpasses the air in its largeness. That is why there is no problem for space to accommodate the air. There is no shortage of space in space. Likewise, this large universe is accommodated by Paramatma without any problem because Paramatma is infinite. That is why in Purusha Sukta it is said Padosya Vishwabhutani Tripadasyaamritan Divi Vishwabhutani, all the objects in the universe are present in just 1/4 of Paramatma, 1/4 of Purusha. Meaning the Purusha, the Brahman transcends the universe, being infinite. This is one aspect that is conveyed through this example. And we can understand another aspect also. The air is present in space. Despite the air being present in space, the space is not affected by the air. The air blows very fast, but the space is not shaken. Everything else can get shaken, but space does not get shaken. The air gets polluted. In your own city, you can find the pollution index. Bangalore, Bombay, Delhi, there is pollution in the air, but the pollution in the air does not pollute the space. Space remains unaffected. Therefore, this example also conveys the asangatva, the unaffected nature of the Brahman, despite being the support of the universe, despite being the support of the entire universe. Even though the universe is very much present on Brahman, the Brahman is asangaha, absolutely unaffected by the impurity, the turbulence in the universe, not shaken by anything in the universe. This is another aspect. Let us see the verse. Yatha, just as when there is yatha, it is an example. Yatha and tatha, as and so. Yatha is the beginning of a relative clause, and tatha is a beginning of a correlative clause. The example starts with the yatha. The drishtanta starts with yatha, and the darshtanta starts with the tatha. In this shloka, the first line is yatha, meaning it is drishtanta, it is the example part. Sarvatra go mahan vayuhu, the vayu, air is described. The air is sarvatragaha, it is present everywhere in the world. It is there in India, it is there in America also. In fact, the same air. Air does not need visa to go from India to America. Same air. Air does not have border. The same air is sarvatragaha. It goes everywhere. It blows everywhere in the atmosphere. The atmosphere. What is the volume of the atmosphere? The atmosphere of the earth. You can find out. It is very large. And this entire atmosphere, the atmosphere of the planet earth. And then there are other atmospheres. Even other planets will have atmospheres. Many planets have atmosphere. So in all the atmosphere there is air, oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, so many gases. It is very voluminous. So sarvatragaha. Therefore it is mahan. It is very vast. Despite being very vast, nityam akashasthitaha. It is supported by space. Nityam, always. The air cannot exist outside space. If the air has to exist, it has to exist in space only. Space is its only support. Akasha is the only support. Vayu cannot exist without Akasha. Nityam, always. This is the example part. In the same manner, tatha, the exemplified, darshtanta, sarvani bhutani, all the beings, all the objects, entire universe. The universe is like air. In the example, it was air. In the Darshtanta, it is the universe. Sarvani bhutani, matsthani, nityam matsthani. They are always supported by me. They cannot exist away from Paramatma. Iti upadharaya, understand so, understand clearly that the Paramatma alone is the support. Paramatma alone is the substratum of the universe. Shloka 7. Sarvabhutani kaunteya प्रकृतिं यान्ति मामिकाम् कल्पक्षये पुनस्तानि कल्पादो विसृजाम्यहम्. The Vedanta presents Brahman, introduces Brahman, Paramatma, as the Jagat Karana, the cause of the universe. When we discuss the cause, they are of two types: Nimitta Karana and Upadana Karana. Intelligent cause and material cause. Brahman is both Nimitta Karana and Upadana Karana. Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karana. We have discussed this in the last two sessions. In order to convey that Brahman alone is the Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karana, the Shastras describe Brahman as responsible for Srishti, Sthiti, as well as Pralaya. The universe comes from Brahman. Yato va imani bhutani jayante, from which all these beings are born. Just creation. If you just say creation, it is not enough. If you just say God created the universe, as in the Western religions, they say God created the universe. But according to them, God is only nimitta karana. God is only an intelligent cause. Therefore, just stating creation is not enough. In order to convey that the God, that Ishvara is both nimitta and upadana, we have to say Ishvara sustains the universe. In fact, the sustenance happens with both nimitta karana and upadana karana. In order to sustain, there has to be intelligence. Without intelligence, this vast universe cannot be sustained. Therefore, when you say Ishvara sustains the universe, you can understand that Ishvara is Nimittakara. He not only creates, he also sustains. And when Ishvara, the universe resolves into Ishvara, yat prayantyabhisamvishanti, resolution, laya. Laya does not mean destruction. In fact, it is not destruction. The universe is not destroyed, it is resolved. There is a difference between destruction and resolution. You have spread out a cloth for some purpose. As we spread the mat, when we have to sit, we spread the mat. After the work is over, what we do? We roll the mat again so that it can be opened again tomorrow. It can be spread out again tomorrow. It is not destroyed. Destruction means a tearing it off. It is not torn off. It is called resolution. In the case of the universe, Paramatma projects the universe, makes the universe manifest. It is called Srishti. Then he sustains the universe. And then after the cycle gets over, he resolves it. The universe resolves into Paramatma. Yat prayanti. The entire universe returns to Paramatma at the time of Pralaya. When this is said, we can understand that Paramatma is Upadana Karana. Because an effect resolves into its Upadana Karana, its material cause. When it is resolved, the wave subsides into the ocean, into water. The ice melts to become water. Because water is the upadana, the material of the wave or the ice. When you melt the gold, when you melt the ornament, it becomes gold. It returns into gold. Because gold is the upadana karana of the ornament. Therefore, when the pralaya is told, the universe resolves into Paramatma, you understand Paramatma is the Upadana Karana as well. Therefore, by stating Srishti, Sthiti, and Laya, the Vedanta conveys that Paramatma is both Nimitta Karana and the Upadana Karana. In other words, the universe has no other cause than Paramatma. This is conveyed. See, He Kaunteya, O son of Kunti, Kalpakshaye, Bhagavan initially talks about pralaya, end of the cycle. Kalpakshaye, at the end of the cycle, end of one cycle of creation, one lifespan of one creation, one srishti is called Kalpakshaya. The lifespan of one srishti has come to a closure. At that time, Sarvabhutani Mamikam Prakritim Yanti. Sarvabhutani, all the beings, all the objects, and all the jivas, all the beings, Mamikam Prakritim Yanti. They enter into my Prakriti. They enter into me. And then Kalpadau Punaha Aham Kalpadau Aham Tani Punaha Visrajami. Kalpadau, at the beginning of another kalpa. After pralaya, once again there is going to be another srishti. The whole process is cyclic. Srishti, sthiti, pralaya. It is followed by another srishti, sthiti, pralaya. Therefore, punaha kalpadu. Once again, there is going to be another kalpadi, another beginning of srishti. Tani punaha visrajami. I project them once again. I make them manifest once again. Therefore, Paramatma is responsible for both Srishti and Pralaya. Shloka 8. Prakritim swamavashtabhya visrajami punah punaha bhutagramamimam kritsnam avasham prakritirvashat. When we say Brahman is the cause, one should get a question. Brahman does not undergo any change. Brahman does not undergo any modification because the very description of Brahman, it is free from all modifications. It is Nitya. Ajo Nitya Shashvatoyam Puranaha. Eternal. and the eternal cannot have any modifications. If Brahman does not undergo any modification, how can Brahman be the cause? How can Brahman be the cause of the universe? Then the Vedantis say Brahman does not become cause of the universe by itself. Brahman becomes the cause with the help of an element known as Prakriti. Prakriti is also called Maya. Mayam tu prakritim vidyat. Maya or Prakriti. This can be understood with an example. The rope appears as snake. How does the rope become the cause of the snake? When the rope appears as snake, we can say rope is the cause of the snake. How does the snake come from the rope? The rope itself does not transform into the snake, but there is something that hides the true nature of the rope and projects the snake on the rope. Something hides the nature of the rope and projects it as snake. That is how the rope appears to be the snake. The rope appears to have transformed into the snake. Likewise, when we say Brahman is Jagat Karana, Brahman is the cause of the universe, there is another principle that conceals the true nature of Brahman and projects the universe on Brahman. It is called Prakriti, Maya. This Maya can be understood as the potential form of the universe. Since the universe comes from the Prakriti, Prakriti projects the universe on Brahman. Therefore, the Prakriti can be understood as universe in its potential unmanifest form. Therefore, sometimes the Prakriti is called Avyakta. or even avyakrita, avyakta or avyakrita, meaning unmanifest. That is why in the previous shloka, shloka 7, Krishna does not say they enter me, they enter my Prakriti, they enter the Prakriti at the time of Pralaya. And the Prakriti is Mamika. The Prakriti belongs to me, meaning the Prakriti rests on Paramatma. The Prakriti does not exist independent of Paramatma. Now, this point, with the help of Prakriti, Paramatma becomes Jagat Karana. This is being clarified. Prakritim swam avashtabhya, wielding my Prakriti, making use of my Prakriti, with the help of my Prakriti, Maya. Prakritir vashat avasham imam kritsnam bhutagramam. Imam kritsnam bhutagramam. This entire group of beings, kritsnam means all, entire. Bhutagramam, group of beings, group of jivas. In this creation, there is a group of beings who are present now, a number of jivas. Now we have taken a body and we are experiencing this world. We are enjoying the result of our karmas. Also, we are doing fresh karmas. We are accumulating fresh karmas, fresh punya and papa. And all these punya and papa are accumulated, they are stored. And these punya and papa will not get destroyed. They will survive even the pralaya. And they manifest even in the next cycle of Srishti. Suppose we have done some kind of papa. I have killed an ant deliberately. Let us say, I have killed an ant. And in this cycle of Srishti, I have not received the phala of my papa, of killing an ant. What will happen? I will receive the phala in the next cycle of Srishti or some other cycle of Srishti. Not even a small papa is forgotten. We may forget, but Ishvara does not forget. Therefore, the Shastra says, Na bhuktam kshiyate karma kalpakoti shatairapi. Even in 100 crores of kalpas, even after 100 crore cycles of creation, our karma does not go away without producing its result. So every inch of our karma will be answered, whether it is punya or papa, we will get the result. So during pralaya, what happens? All the jivas are resolved. Resolved means we all exist in potential form in the Maya, in the Prakriti at the time of Pralaya. The Jiva does not die, the Jiva does not perish during Pralaya. It is there in a potential form, unmanifest form. And then during the next cycle of Srishti, the same Jivas manifest. That is why Krishna says, Punah punaha visrajami. I release them again and again. This entire group of beings, all are born again and again. Do we have a choice? I don't want to be born, or I want to be born in this Janma. I don't want to become a human being. I want to become a pet because pets are happier than human beings nowadays. So, do we have a choice? Krishna says you don't have a choice. Because what kind of Janma you will get, when you will get a Janma, everything is determined by your karma. Therefore, Krishna says, Avasham, they are Avasha. The Jiva is Avasha. The Jiva does not have a say regarding its birth because its Janma is determined by its previous karmas. Why Avasham? How long will the Jiva remain Avasha? As long as there is Ajnana, as long as there is ignorance. Therefore, Krishna says, Prakriter Vashat, being under the spell of Prakriti, it is Avasha. The Jiva is under the spell of Prakriti, under the clutches of Prakriti. Why it is under the clutches of Prakriti? Because of Ajnana, because of ignorance. Because of ajnana, the jiva is bound to the body, mind, senses, the three gunas. That is how it becomes avasha. The only way to get rid of this cycle is to get rid of the ajnana, get rid of the ignorance. And what is the way to get rid of the ignorance? Atmajnana, as it is told earlier in the first shloka, first and second shloka of this chapter, Rajavidya, Yajñātvā mokshase shubhat, Jnanam vijnana sahitam, Yajñātvā mokshase shubhat. Jnana is the way out. Until then, we are Prakrtir Vasha, under the clutches of Prakriti. Therefore, we keep taking birth again and again. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.